Good afternoon. My name is Christina Page, and I wasn't sure if I would come today to testify. How this has impacted me changes every day, so I don't exactly know what to say. An example, last weekend I went to Utah to the Arches to spread my son's ashes. And as I stood there and took a picture of the view, I realized I had been there before. 4 years ago, spreading who I now refer to as Grandma Fido. I don't know if it's somebody else's grandma or if it's an animal. I've had several industry professionals test and tell me that it is a human, just not my human. My human was my son, David Jackson Page. He was 20 when he died. He was funny, intelligent, and a fighter for truth and justice. He's given me strength as I've traveled more than 450,000 miles after sitting here in the Capitol for 217 for the Integrity Act. And I've spread my son all across this country as I met with other families who lost their loved ones the way that I lost my son. He was also autistic. And as I inferred, he was killed by police during mental health crisis after he learned that his son died by stillbirth. As you can imagine, I wasn't in right mind when the police came and gave me Return to Nature's brochure, and then a couple days later told me that he had already been cremated and I wouldn't be able to identify him yet. Or again, my son was 180 pounds and 6'3". 4 years later, he was 74 pounds at his proper cremation. He lost 106 pounds as he laid naked, uncovered and exposed, rotting in the corner of an inoperable refrigerator while rats, maggots, and bugs ate his face. Having these regulations in place would have prevented it. It would have prevented the re-victimization and the re-traumatization that many of our families have gone through. It would have prevented me having to ask questions like what happens to our bodies when they die? Or more specifically, was my son a mummy or was he soupy? He never should have been either. I also want to point out that many families are afraid to die in Colorado now because of this situation. And I want to remind you that it wasn't just 190 families that were affected by the Return to Nature atrocities. 1,178 death certificates were filed by these people. The 190 are only the ones that have been found. I implore you to pass this regulation.